2017 was a very interesting year. RAD has been in this journey of SDN and NFV from the start. So it took time until customers reached the level of acceptance of this technology. I think 2017 was the turning point.
So we're in Tel Aviv at the RAD headquarters. I'm here with Ilan. Ilan, great to see you.
Hi, Ray. Good seeing you again.
Okay, thanks for having us here. Now, network operators are facing a lot of challenges in 2018, but we're going to focus on three particular ones today. And the first one is the suitability of white box technology for service provider networks. This has been talked about for years. Has this become a reality, and what are still the challenges for network operators today?
So NFV and SDN in general are becoming a reality. We have seen during the last year some large operators actually launching, deploying vCPE-based solutions. While they started these deployments, they started to see some challenges. And maybe the first and most interesting one is the fact that white boxes are coming from IT, from data center environment. They were not really designed for networks in general, for telecom environment, and surely not for the access part of the network, where in the access you have typically a variety of access technologies. In addition to fiber, you need to use DSL, PON, even TDM in some cases.
Right.
White boxes simply don't have these capabilities, and white boxes don't support today the troubleshooting, diagnostics, monitoring capabilities that are typically required in order to deploy and troubleshoot and diagnose and service the life cycle of a service.
Okay. And so is there a particular solution that RAD has developed to help counter this challenge?
Yes, definitely. So we have on one side an operating system that can run on RADs or any third-party white box.
Okay.
This operating system natively includes telecom-grade capabilities. So once you deploy it on any third-party white box, you have diagnostics, troubleshooting, performance monitoring capabilities within this white box. In some cases, if a service provider selects a solution from another vendor, he will still need to address these challenges. He will still need to use the available access technologies that are there in the field. And RAD can help. Even in those scenarios, we can provide pluggable devices for DSL, PON, even TDM, even multi-link TDM connections.
Right.
Together with our own VNF. We have a special, very unique VNF, a RAD VNF called vAccess that can be deployed and is actually deployed by Tier 1 operators in North America into third-party white boxes. And this VNF provides monitoring, health of the VNFs. Plus, it helps to manage RAD pluggables. So in this kind of a multi-vendor environment, it's possible to deploy vAccess, to deploy RAD pluggable PNFs in order to address the real-life challenges of service providers and making white boxes telco-grade.
Okay, so providing telco-grade capabilities to a white box platform, essentially.
Right. So,
okay.
so on one side, it's making the white box carrier class, because a white box is a universal device, while networks are not universal. Every network, every access, even within a different area of the same service provider, it will have different challenges.
Right.
So
okay.
How to adapt that? We can help in this regard.
Okay, excellent. Now, SD-WAN obviously has become a really big topic for network operators, for the supplier community, and for enterprises around the world in the last 12 to 18 months. How do you see that market developing, and what kind of challenges have you seen emerging as SD-WAN has become a reality?
So you're right. We've seen the last year that SD-WAN definitely caught the attention of service providers. And there are some announcements. I think some service providers are even investing in some of the SD-WAN startups. But there's also some realization process. I think some service providers start to realize that whilst SD-WAN gives them a relatively easy to deploy solution that includes VNF, in some cases also white boxes, and a management suite, it's also a closed garden. So once they go with a certain VNF SD-WAN vendor, it's very tough for them to either add more capabilities because they become dependent on that particular vendor, or it's basically kind of a closed garden. So if the goal was to get out of the Ciscos of the world closed garden, they just replace it with another vendor closed garden. And in some cases, it's even back to Cisco, right? So if you think about the Viptela case, for instance.
Okay. And so what is, how can RAD sort of help to address this particular challenge?
So first of all, we definitely realize that SD-WAN provides a lot of value. And we partner with Versa Networks, that we have a global OEM relationship with them.
Okay.
And we provide a solution that includes our operating system with the pluggable access interface that I mentioned before to allow deployment in any environment, in any location. And we run the Versa SD-WAN software as a VNF on our operating system. And this creates an open environment because it's very easy to add additional functions. If the customer wants to use another vendor security suite or SBC or actually any kind of VNF that is relevant for the access network, he can simply chain it to the SD-WAN VNF. And this gives him the flexibility to pick and choose the best of breed VNFs that are actually relevant for his customers, for his deployment scenarios, and change them in the future if required.
Okay. All right. So opening up the options in the SD-WAN market. Okay. That sounds like a good way forward. And I guess tied with that, there's a renewed talk in the industry these days about out-of-the-box capabilities, end-to-end automation. Is this a real opportunity now in wide area networks and for the telecoms community, or are we still at the kind of the hope and dream stage?
Yeah. So we had the opportunity to chat a little bit about our past experience with the telemanagement forum, right? So the concept of having magically some way to integrate systems and have a network-wide management solution is not new, right? The vision was there for before SDN came to life, and it's still here. And it's a good vision, right? And we are getting there, but we don't want to wait until it happens. And reality today is that you don't have really out-of-the-box multi-vendor solutions that can provide you this kind of end-to-end management capability. There are efforts involved. And I think service providers are starting to realize that it makes sense to have vendor-specific domain orchestrators as kind of a mediation layer between the variety of network devices, CPEs, UCPs, BCPs that have to be deployed, and you have many of those in the access, and a network-wide orchestration system. So to have a vendor-specific mediation layer or a vendor-specific SDN controller that can actually natively manage this specific vendor equipment, but is SDN managed as SDN-based northbound interface, can integrate into a network-wide orchestration solution. This is a solution, this kind of an approach is something that is practical, can be deployed today, and I see more and more operators gravitating to that. They say, let's start with this. Maybe in the future when we have a network-wide orchestration solution, we migrate to that, but they don't want to wait.
Okay.
Because they want to go to market with the technology.
Okay. And so what kind of solution is available to enable this step right now in 2018?
So what we have in our toolbox, in our vCPE solution, is a comprehensive package that includes all the aspects that I've just described. So on one hand, we have an operating system. It's the core of our solution. It includes networking, security, tunneling, and ability to host any VNF, for example, SD-WAN as a VNF, and others, of course. And we have an ecosystem of VNF partners that we certify, we test. We're able to provide performance results to our customers for that specific, for those VNFs. And a set of white boxes that we can offer to our customers But this same operating system can run also on a white box provided by our customer.
Okay.
So, it's very flexible and open. And in addition, we can provide the access interfaces, the pluggable PNFs, as we call them, that can be hosted on RAD white box, on third-party white box, managed through our operating system, and allow the service provider to deploy the solution anywhere. On top of that, we provide a lifecycle management domain orchestrator suite that allows to deploy the VNFs, change the VNF, manage the operating system, manage the different types of white boxes. And this is kind of out-of-the-box solution that operators can actually take as is, deploy vCPE services based on it today, but it's still open. So in the future, once there is a network-wide orchestration solution, we can interface with that.
Okay. Well, RAD has always been known as a company with practical solutions for the market, and it sounds like you're continuing that trend. So Ilan, thanks very much for telling us about those today.
Thank you very much, Ray. Thank you.